welcome to episode 171 of the Parkrun Adventurers podcast. Traditionally speaking, the odd episodes were introduced by my co-host Scotty Trickett. However, Scotty is no longer the co-host of this fine podcast, sadly enough. So I'm running with it. I'm taking on the odds. And that means that the evens will go to whoever will be co-hosting with me in the future. We don't know who that will be yet. So in the meantime, the Channel 5 news crew have incredibly all put up their hands and said they are willing to support and be my co-hosts in the caretaker period. And to kick off with, we thought it would be, and when I say we, I'm talking also about Scotty, because I had a chat about how things might work with him. And he is 100% in agreement that it only makes sense that the very first person to be the co-host with me would be PK, Paul Kitching, who was also the first ever roving reporter to join the then Channel 4 news crew, which morphed into the Channel 5 news crew. So, PK, welcome to the Parkrun Adventurers.
G'day, Mel. How are you?
I want to say I'm good, and I am good, but I'm still, feeling my way here. It's going to be a bit of a transitionary period for me as we forge into the future without Scotty. I thank you so much, PK, for joining me and holding my hand through this first episode. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, can I just say it's an absolute honour. I feel like, I don't know, it's like, the birth of my two girls, witnessing Sturt winning the grand final, appearing as the co-host on the Parkrun Adventurers podcast is up there with the highlights of my life. No, I'm serious. When you contacted me about it, I was like, wow. I remember the days when I would just send through the files and, hope that I made sense as a roving reporter. And I got pretty obsessed in that first year. I'm thinking back now, and you reminded me of some of the adventures that I had and I reported on. But, and it's been, 3.5 years now that, I've been honoured and thank you. It's been a big journey and, it's been a lot of fun and really, and I've got to thank both you and Scott for what you have created because, we are years down the track now, and it's evolved, hasn't it? It's evolved, and I suppose, and some evolutions happen because they have to. Some evolutions happen because you're made to, and I know this one. You were pretty emotional in the last week, and those who have listened to it, if you haven't, you should go back and have a listen because I think that in itself is a milestone. Episode 170. If you haven't listened to it, people, and you're listening to this in the future, go back and listen to 170 because it really is a line in the sand, I believe, for the Parkrun Adventurers podcast.
Yes, definitely a line, and everything's going to be different from here. And hopefully everyone sticks with us. I've had a lot of messages in the last week, and I've spoken to a lot of people. There was the Parkrun Australia Ambassador Conference on the weekend, and so I saw a lot of people in person who are devout listeners of the pod, and many people messaged and said that there should have been a warning not to listen to it while driving because it was dangerous. And yeah, it sounds like we weren't the only ones to get emotional. And I know what it's like. I'm one of those sympathetic criers. So if my friends get upset, I get upset. And yeah, it was real. It was real.
And I reckon you must have had the mute on a bit because every time I could hear you listening back to it, sniffling away, and it was beautiful. It was raw and real, and like Scotty said, he ripped the Band-Aid off, and which I think was really well done, and it was emotional times. There's so much love for Scott out there, as we know, and especially and not in just within the parkrun world, but within the roving reporters world as well, and all of us reporters was very evident in our private group that we've got going on where we chat about everything that we're doing. And that was very evident. And Scotty, we missed you, and we're gonna forge on without you. And do our best. And as I said, it's an honour just to be one of the co-hosts. And I look forward to hearing from all my fellow reporters and the different nuances and the different, I suppose, interests that they have that they can bring to this awesome world that you've created.
It'll be fun. There will be fun to be had. That is for sure.
Bring it on.
And speaking of fun, PK, where were you at Parkrun last weekend?
Oh, well, look, I have to be honest, I was back home at Mount Barker. It's been a while. I've had a few weeks off with sport, but I was the RD at Mount Barker on the weekend. We had a great day. It was there were a few milestones. As RD, you hope everything goes well, and it did. It was a bit eventful. There, at one point, I did have to ride out on the course, borrow someone's bike with the defib, in one hand. But it was all okay. I didn't even find what could have been an issue. It was all covered, but I did get to see the whole course on a bike, and it meant I got to enjoy the beautiful surrounds of the Larratinga wetlands and hear the bird life, etc. So I got to see our course a little bit different. Unplanned, but it was another awesome park run. How about you? Where were you? Well, I know where you were, but which park run did you do?
Well, hold on. I need to go back to this. You had to bike a defib out to the course. Did somebody put a call in for the defib, or you were just told that there was an accident or something?
Young lads, actually, young Jackson, he came up to me. He came first, and by the time he came over the line, he ran up to me and he said, "Mate, there's someone's collapsed out about a K out." And I went, "Oh, okay." So he actually had also done the course checker roll. So he'd actually had his bike there. He'd done the course checker roll on his bike. So I borrowed his bike and grabbed the defib, not knowing what was happening, and so madly got on the bike, rode out. There's a photo of me on our Facebook on the bike to find out what had happened. But of course, I was looking for someone on the ground, and kept on riding and couldn't find anyone. And I wish I'd actually asked some of the people that were I was madly riding past. But as it turns out, by the time I got I couldn't see anyone, I kept asking all these people. They hadn't seen anyone, and clearly what had happened, someone had had an incident. I believe it was an asthma attack. I've since heard there was also an epileptic fit as well. So I had two potential incidences, and Carol will be pleased to know I reported both of them. But they were both thankfully not real incidences, even though they were incidences, but they certainly did not require the defib. Although a few people did say to me they saw the look of fear in my eyes of, the RD that has to deal with a major incident whilst riding with the defib in their hand.
Well, and that's the thing, did you, with all that adrenaline, did you need the defib when you got over, to the end? Did you sort of come to a stop and say, all right, now this is for me?
I did think that. Well, and also because it was a little bit chilly up there. Mount Barker's up in the hills, and I had my thermals on, under jeans, and 3 layers on my top and a vest, and I was riding madly on the bike. It was a little bit warm when I got back, so.
Far out. My goodness. Well done you, anyway, for responding so quickly. My parkrun day was nowhere near as eventful as that. I mean, it was a great morning. I was at Kirra Parkrun it is technically Gold Coast. It's just snuck into Queensland, pretty much, Kirra. Whereas we were staying in accommodation in New South Wales, but we walked to Parkrun. So we crossed the border from New South Wales into Queensland to get to Parkrun on Saturday morning. Only a 2K walk, so it was a nice, gentle warm-up for those that were doing the course. I have actually run at Kirra before, so I thought I would take the opportunity to volunteer this time and see it from that perspective, because everyone knows I love volunteering. So
right.
I was photographer.
Awesome.
Absolutely unnecessary, because there were so many social media ambassadors who just, they came for a run, but they also bought their 5-foot-long lenses, etc., and all their fancy photography equipment, whereas I just had my little phone that I was taking snaps out on the course with. So I'm not even sure if my photos have been uploaded yet, because all the other ones were just so brilliant. It's they didn't really need mine. I still had a great morning. After the event, the wonderful Gary Murphy, who was up from Victoria for the weekend as well, attending the conference, he was running around in his propeller hat, and he came and
I saw the propeller hat. I saw William Barlow posted a great video that features the propeller hat working. So it's worth looking that one up on YouTube. Indeed.
Absolutely. He's a fine man, Will Barlow. I believe he's celebrating a milestone himself this coming weekend, PK.
Yes, go Will. I believe you're doing your 250 this weekend at Gin and Dara. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yes.
Go Will.
Yeah, but so after he had run, he came over and stood around near where I was and was cheering and giving high fives out and things like that. He actually got swooped by a magpie. A magpie felt threatened by his propeller, I'm guessing. And it was literally while he was standing right across from me. I thought, oh, it's magpie season already. It's not even September yet and they're already out. So fortunately, he was unharmed and untouched by said magpie. And no second attempt was made, which was good. But yeah, I had a great morning. There was a wonderful vibe going on. Everybody was so happy. It was a really just warm, genuinely lovely parkrun day. And it's at the beach. You can't argue with the view from the beach.
It looked gorgeous. I've seen the photos and the video, as I said. And the conference, for those playing at home, what was that all about?
Well, once a year, Parkrun Australia hosts an ambassador conference, which is an opportunity for ambassadors across the country to get together and basically live and breathe parkrun for a couple of days and come away rejuvenated and inspired about the work that the volunteers do. Because, we all get so much from volunteering. It's such a gaining experience. And yeah, that's pretty much what conference is about. I had the privilege of being the MC this year. Many thanks to Dave Robbo for being out of the country, so he couldn't do it. I was option number 2, or possibly further down the list. However, I don't know how many other names were on the list before they arrived at mine, but I was very honoured and privileged to be there and do it, and had a good time. Lots of fun. Behind the mic.
I'm sure you nailed it, Mel. I've got serious FOMO, far out. When I saw that Paul and Charlie Butler and Greta and others from South Australia were heading off to the Gold Coast, I'm like, what? Where are you guys going? What are you doing? And then they told me, and I'm like, oh, FOMO, far out. But I've saw a few photos. Tell me more about, what goes on behind, what goes on at conference, that stays at conference, I understand. But I did notice a bit of a dress up, and I know you love a dress up. Tell me more about the dress ups.
Yeah, there was a Hawaiian theme for the dress up. So basically it's just, the dinner on Saturday night. It's not compulsory, but everybody or the majority of people really run with it. And the Hawaiian theme was lovely. I wanted to get my pineapple dress out from years and years ago, and I did get it out at home, and I definitely do not fit into it anymore. Becoming a mother has definitely changed my body in more ways than one. So I no longer fit into my pineapple dress, which is quite sad. I'm going to have to make some alterations. So I got my backup Hawaiian outfit, because everyone has a backup Hawaiian outfit somewhere in their cupboard, I'm sure. And just did the ordinary grass skirt and Hawaiian shirt. With multiple layers of multiple rainbow type colors, and yeah, it was good fun. I also made a little costume for Emmett. This was his first time at conference. Wesley stayed at home, and Emmett got dressed up as a little miniature pineapple.
Now tell me, by doing Kira, did that add to one of these indexes that I keep hearing about and that I'm up about? Did it, I don't know. I know there are a number of indexes. Did it register on one of those?
It would have contributed to the long game of my V index, because I was volunteering as photographer. Yeah. So. Right.
Now, again, for those playing at home, and this is me just tapping in as a casual listener. I've got to peel the curtain back here and admit that I haven't listened to every episode. Shock horror of the Parkrun.
Oh my goodness!
I know, right?
You're sacked, PK.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, you can leave now.
Life gets in the way. You missed the episode or episodes where you referred to these different indexes. And I've heard of the V index, yeah. There's another one, the Wilson index, and I love that you guys refer to it every now and then. But I'm also thinking about those that might have just tuned in and gone. And I know the whole idea is there for you need to go back and listen to the episode where we talked about what the Wilson index is. But can we just enlighten me and others as to what the Wilson index is, for example?
For those who haven't heard of the Wilson index before, every event has a number. So, for example, you were run director at Mount Barker on the weekend. It would have been event number, do you know what?
291.
Okay, 291. So if you had run at Mount Barker on the weekend, you would have earned a 291 for your Wilson index.
Right.
So the Wilson index is the number of events starting at number 1 that you have attended across all the parkruns you've ever attended. So if you've ever attended a launch, you've got a 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if you went to the very first of a parkrun and then you ran there for 50 weeks in a row and never had a break, never volunteered, you would have a Wilson index of 50. And so it's the number of events that you've got in a row. So, okay. For example, my Wilson index is currently 3 because I've never been to an event number 4 or 5. But if I got a 4 and a 5, my Wilson index would actually jump to 9 because the next number I'm missing is a 10.
Yes, I love it. That's good. Now I totally get it. And I totally get the fascination with it, yeah, because like with 291, like obviously there's going to be a whole lot of different gaps there. I've done, I don't know how many parkruns, 130 odd, whatever. But yeah, there's obviously going to be a lot of gaps. But
lots of people use it. Some people exclusively decide where they're going based on their Wilson index. They don't need a brand new event or anything like that.
Well, I'm now totally enlightened. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And yeah, I mean, the running challenges in general, big rabbit hole to fall down, but fun, very fun.
I love it. I love it. And it just adds to the fun that is parkrun, isn't it? Really, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, now we're going to chat with some excellent parkrun ambassadors. They are a new form of ambassadors that have been added not long ago. They are parkrun ambassadors for photography and video. So parkrun photography and video ambassadors. I'm talking about Paul and Charlie Butler. Welcome, Paul and Charlie. How are you going?
How are we doing?
Excellent. Thank you, PK.
So Charlie and Paul, you guys have come on board recently as the parkrun photography and video ambassadors. I know you well because you are part of the Mount Barker team, and you have done some fabulous work for our local parkrun. And yeah, it's been noticed by the parkrun world, and you guys have been elevated to this awesome role. How did it feel when you were contacted by parkrun and told that you were offered, I suppose, the role of the ambassadors?
Yeah, thank you, PK. Fantastic. It was great. I got a call from Carol at Parkrun HQ, and she talked to, and must admit, every time I speak with Carol, I end up feeling very excited and inspired. She's fantastic to talk to. But such an honour for us, for Charlie and I, to be given the opportunity to do something that we really enjoy doing and be able to contribute in this way. It's been really exciting so far, and we're thoroughly enjoying it.
To be honest, when it was first sort of happening, I didn't really know what was going on because, well, that's how I usually am. I'm a teenage boy. I never really know what's happening. But then when we started talking about being ambassadors, I thought there was a pretty incredible opportunity, and we were both really excited to be a part of something like that.
Yeah, well, I suppose you've been doing photography and video as well, Charlie. Awesome work for parkrun for a while now. What does it mean to be an ambassador? How does it change your role?
It makes me feel more important. My favourite thing has been getting the parkrun email. Definitely. Getting charlie.butler@parkrun.com was the most important part for me because that felt pretty awesome. But mainly it's been being a part of something so much bigger. At Mount Barker, a lot of the videos are sort of for events coming up and small things like birthday celebrations. But then doing some of the video work for Parkrun Australia, promoting things like Volunteer Week, is just so exciting to be a part of something that's so much bigger and that means so much more.
It's a wonderful role that you guys are both very talented at doing. I know I've seen your work over the previous years. Can you each give us a little bit of a back history into how you first came to know about parkrun, how you got involved, how you started volunteering?
I saw about it in our local paper. I saw that it was coming to Mount Barker, which is a town in the Adelaide Hills, not very far away from where we live. And at the time, I'd been playing indoor soccer and getting a bit too old to be playing indoor soccer. We were getting thrashed, and I thought it's only a matter of time before I get injured. So I was looking for something else to try. And so I saw that this thing called parkrun was coming, and that was in 2014. And I decided to go along and give it a go. And I took Charlie with me and Tilly, my daughter, as well. And off we went, and had no idea at the time just how much it was going to change my life, just how significant and enjoyable, and what a huge thing it was going to become for me. The first time I went, it was good. I enjoyed it. Charlie probably wasn't quite so enthusiastic about the whole idea, were you, Charlie?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I didn't really enjoy it. I was a chubby 11-year-old. Taking them along to a 5-kilometre run is really not a good idea. I remember, though, Dad brought himself a backpack with a drink bottle and some bananas just in case the distance was too long, which I thought was great.
Were they for you, Charlie, or were they for Paul?
I think they were just for him, to be honest.
And when did you guys discover the joy of volunteering?
I first did volunteering as a way to get out of running. Because when I first found out that I could take photos, I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity to go along to parkrun and then not have to do any of the hard work of actually running. That soon turned into me realizing what a great community it is, and then I started actually running. But it was really just an excuse at first because I felt guilty for not wanting to go along.
And for me, I'd probably been going for about a year and been going along to parkrun and enjoying it. And I'd finish my run and pack up and go home. But a friend of mine said one time that he was going to volunteer, and I thought, yeah, I should probably do the same. And given the fact that I had an interest in photography, it was natural that I would do the photography role. But I just remember turning up, and the event director at the time came over and had a chat and said, you must be Paul. And when, she made Facebook friends with me so that I could upload the photos. And I think it was pretty much from that day onwards that it all really changed, because then I really felt like I was part of the group. Started to learn people's names, find out how it all worked. And I think that the best thing for me was just that people were really appreciative of what I did. And I enjoyed taking photos anyway. So it just really encouraged that and became a really supportive and encouraging thing. And then, of course, Charlie became interested in photography as well. And so he started to take on the role too.
You've gone to parkrun together as a family to start with, albeit Charlie a little bit reluctantly, but that's burgeoned into a obvious love for the community that's there. How has that impacted your relationship, both of you, getting into the photography and enjoying your time at parkrun?
It's been great. So it's been really good to have something that we share a real interest in. And initially we would photograph together for the first couple of times. And what always fascinates me is that we could go along to the same parkrun on the same day with the same people and come away with different photos, different looking photos. And so it's really interesting to see the different take. And yeah, Charlie's got a really creative flair about him and his photography. And then subsequently when he got into videos as well, he would just try things that I hadn't even thought of doing, which I found really quite fascinating. So it's been an opportunity for us in terms of the way that we relate to each other to have something important and significant that we can talk about, and probably balances out all the other stupid stuff that we talk about on the way to and from parkrun as well.
Yeah, I think it's really helpful also to have that sort of barrier. That's why we first did it both together, because I was so nervous about not being able to get those extra shots that I needed. So it's really good that we can rely on each other. And so when I get terrible photos, I'm able to use some of his, and then it looks like we did a decent job when really he did all the work.
Yeah, your dedication to the craft of photography and videography, both of you, is stunning, and congratulations to you both, because you both create awesome work that is well admired by everyone, and you're doing it, in a volunteer role for free, and the work lives on forever, in perpetuity. But look, I think it's awesome, the stuff that you're doing. I'm intrigued to know, Charlie, as to your interest in video. I'd like to, I suppose, ask how that has evolved. We've done a little bit of work, and probably the highlight of your video world video life has been when you and I did the first Parkrun Adventurers vodcast.
Yeah.
For New Year's Day double. Anyway, that's available on the Parkrun Adventurers Facebook page for any of those who haven't seen it. But then when you brought out the awesome work for the Mount Barker birthday celebrations, which was a lot of fun. But in all seriousness, for those who are unaware, you've gone on to do some great stuff with Chopfest. Tell us a little bit more about that, and has Parkrun helped that? Did that help Parkrun?
Well, it's been pretty awesome with Parkrun, because everyone in the community has been so supportive. So when I first got into it, I thought it was a great opportunity to do my first sort of video. So I remember probably when around Mount Barker Parkrun's second birthday, I did a little video for them. And then ever since then, I kept doing more and more videos. And the great thing about it was it didn't matter if the videos weren't good enough. It wasn't a paid client. So it was just such a relaxed opportunity for me to develop my skills. So even I can see my work has definitely improved over the past 4 or so years, and that was to the point where I was comfortable enough to be able to do a short film for Tropfest. So that was one that involved all of our family, which was an interesting process because no one in our family is really actors except for my sister, and that was really about that was the main challenge, trying to get good content out of Dad. Not to be mean to Dad. Actually, funnily enough, he won Best Actor at the competition, which was really strange.
Well, Charlie, actors are only as good as their directors.
I like that. I'm going to start saying that. That's basically my trophy then.
And I will note that the trophy has ended up in Charlie's bedroom, by the way, but, we're not talking about that.
It was a bit rough. I mean, I spent 8 months on the film. It was my pride and joy. And then Dad goes away with the award.
It really wasn't fair. He should have won.
I should have won.
He should have won.
No, but yeah, it was a really exciting project to work on and definitely challenging, but really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, in terms of Parkrun, though, one of the things that's fantastic about the particular community that we've got at Mount Barker is that people are very used to having their photo taken or being on film. And so it's just become part of the norm. People know that they turn up there, and the photographer doesn't really have to do a lot to talk people into it. People are jumping in front of the lens to get their picture taken. And so because people are so used to that, because we've had such quite an investment in photography and videography, that it means that Charlie's been able to get lots of really good practice in there, with lots of people who are always willing to do their bit and be in front of the camera.
That's actually how I got comfortable enough to be able to go up and talk to people, because I do a lot of event photography now where you need to ask people to get your photos taken, and it's so challenging to go up to a stranger and ask them if you can take a photo of them. That's like a weird thing to do. But at Mount Barker, I don't think anyone's ever actually said no to me. So that was just such a good way to build my confidence. Everyone's so willing, everyone's so used to it, and everyone's so supportive there of what we do.
Do you have any tips for any burgeoning photographers out there, or any volunteers who take on the role? I know it's a role that is traditionally really difficult to fill at a lot of events because people have this fear of not taking good photos, or perhaps it's that interaction with people and asking if they can take their photos. Have you got any tips for those people?
Well, the strategy that we usually use is if someone's really new to doing photography, I'll go along and I'll take photos as their backup. So that's what I did with Dad, and that's pretty much the only reason that I was ever comfortable enough to go and take photos, is because I knew that if everything did fail, I'd have a backup. But I think the main thing in terms of getting group photos is just to be loud and to be confident. PK knows a lot about that. I don't think he has any issues with doing that. But I found that waiting around sort of to politely ask for a photo is quite challenging sometimes because people are focused on their conversations, and just having the confidence to know what you're doing and just go up to someone and talk to them is the main thing to be able to get good shots, I reckon.
That's right. I think just being willing to jump in and do it. And the fact is that people really appreciate when someone volunteers as a photographer. And I've found it quite fascinating. There's not many events where people get pretty much a weekly photograph of themselves. And sometimes when we look back over to get someone's milestone pictures together, it's really interesting to see how much people have changed in the last, 2 or 3 years. It is quite unique to get community photographs like that, and people really appreciate it. And I'm sometimes reminded of that when, I've gone to post a photograph and it hasn't quite worked, and I thought, oh, should I put that one in or not? And someone's, afterwards said, oh, where's my picture? So people like to see their pictures.
Totally, and talking of the way people have changed, certainly I've looked back at some of your photos, Charlie, and the 11-year-old versus the current late teen. It's certainly an evolution there, and I'm not just talking about your awesome hairstyle either.
Yeah, that's changed a lot actually. About 2-3 years ago, I just didn't get a haircut and decided let's just go for it. Let's just see how long it goes.
Well, it was great to see the afro out in the pics that I've seen from the awesome conference that you guys have just been at. So you guys are obviously fresh from the Parkrun Ambassadors Conference. How was that for you both?
Exciting times.
No, the conference was just brilliant. To have such a group of inspiring, enthusiastic people there, it was fantastic. It was one of the best conferences I've ever been to. Thoroughly loved it. There were so many good things to take away from that. But one of the main things I came away with is the line that was used a few times that parkrun is changing people's lives. To be part of that, just inspired and totally glad to be on board. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's why I was so excited to be an ambassador, is that it is being a part of something that huge, and doing media content can really promote parkrun. And the idea is that if we get someone inspired to go and try out parkrun, it really is changing lives, which is such an incredible thing to be a part of, I reckon.
And the fact is that parkrun wouldn't have the buzz that it has if there weren't photos recording the event.
I would agree 100%. So that brings me to the next thing. What exciting projects have you got in the pipeline for future photography or video things that we might be able to see in the parkrun world? Anything that's not secret?
Yeah, we've got a few plans. Yeah, one of the things we want to get out is just get out and visit more places. So we do tend to do a lot of stuff at Mount Barker, our home one, but we want to go out and find other ones, which would be great. We are also thinking of doing another advert. We did an advert for the 5th birthday for Mount Barker. We're thinking of doing an advert for the New Year's Day double coming up this year.
Great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Only if you pay double what you paid me last year, I'm happy to be in it.
It sounds good. I think.
Don't forget New Year's double. You get 2 parkruns for the price of 1 PK. So you're ahead on that one already.
Your script, seriously, the script that you and Charlie, and this is seriously, you guys reckon you don't have good content. Seriously, the script that you guys have rolled out the last 2 years leading up to the double, it has to be seen to be believed. And anyway, that's just, you're very funny. I love the combination of wit and youthful exuberance is phenomenal. And it's so refreshing to have you both do what you do at Mount Barker, but also now unleashed on the world. And I think it's a fabulous thing that Parkrun has done this and I suppose embraced. And as Mel said, who knows where it's going to lead and the opportunities that it's going to bring.
Thank you very much for joining us this week, Butler gentlemen. It has been delightful having you on. You did a fabulous job at the conference with the projects that you were doing on site and buzzing around. You were always there, often very close in people's faces, but I'm sure nobody took it personally. Cannot wait to see what wonderful creative things come out of the parkrun universe in terms of photography and video in the future from you guys. So thank you very much for joining us this week on the pod.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. It's a pleasure.
Good morning, Parkrun Adventures, and g'day, Mel. It's Lyndall, and this week I'm reporting in from Chermside Parkrun for their 4th birthday. They have a theme. I'm yet to find out if they have cake, but I'll be on the lookout for that, I assure you. Their theme is bright and shiny, so I have shown up in a pair of bright gold tights that, quite frankly, aren't designed for running in, so this is going to be interesting. It is a bit of fun. I have got my Channel 5 News Crew press card on me, so maybe that will give me a bit of respect, because I'll tell you what, these tights are utterly ridiculous. On the flip side, hopefully I'm not bringing the Channel 5 News Crew into disrepute by wearing these things. It sounds like there's a bit of a hush, and the briefing's about to start, so I'll get going and catch up after the run. So today at Chermside Parkrun, the theme, as I said before, was shiny and bright, and we're all shining today for Eva. So I've here with Eva's parents. It was a fundraiser today, and they'll tell us all about it. So how are you today? What's your name?
Hi, my name's Alicia. I'm Eva's mum, and yeah, it was a really good day. We had a great turnout.
Excellent. It did look like a great turnout today.
Yeah, hi, I'm Dan, Eva's dad, and we've had a good fun run this morning, and now we're just feeding Eva.
Yeah. Life goes on, doesn't it? Now, today was a fundraiser for a particular charity that you guys are involved with. Would you like to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the charity's called Amy and Friends Cocaine Syndrome Charity. It's actually a UK-based charity. There's not one based in Australia, just because it's such a rare condition. There's only 7 children in Australia with the condition. So there's a large charity in the UK called Amy and Friends, and also one in the States called Share and Care. Yeah. So they support, worldwide families with cocaine syndrome. So it's called Amy and Friends because the lady that started it, her daughter has cocaine syndrome, and her name's Amy. So it's just about Amy and her friends. So the reason for the charity is to raise awareness, primarily for cocaine syndrome, and also any genetic rare diseases, because there's so many of them that a lot of people don't know about. It also is to raise money for research, and largely as well, it's to provide a lot of family and connectivity to the support and connectivity to the families with it. So we know people all over the world with it now, and we were lucky enough to go to the conference a couple of years ago in the UK to meet all of them and to meet a lot of the doctors that are doing the research into it as well.
It must be really comforting with a child. I can't imagine what that's like to have a child that, has such a rare condition. It must be hard to understand sometimes what's going on. So having that support across the world must be really comforting.
It is, yeah, definitely. And there's a Facebook group that we all are a part of, and any questions that someone has is always answered by everyone who's been through that experience or knows something about it. Yeah, so definitely it helps a lot.
Yeah, fantastic. And that connectivity, is something that you've also got from Parkrun here at Chermside?
Absolutely. I think probably when Eva was diagnosed, or when she was born 3 years ago and diagnosed 2 years ago, having some normalcy in our life, was really important, and having such a great parkrun community at Chermside really, assisted us to continue that. So we've got a lot of friends that we brought to Parkrun, but also made at Parkrun, and they have been a huge factor in helping us feel that normalcy, I suppose. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add?
We've been just partaking in Parkrun for a little while now, for a few years, and when we went over to England for the conference, we did a few parkruns over there. It was really interesting to get around and see some of the different parkruns. Yeah, so it's always a friendly atmosphere and very welcoming, and so running seems to be a community of friendly people. That's a nice thing.
And any highlights from Parkrun in England for you?
Well, we did Edinburgh Parkrun, which was freezing, wasn't it? But
1,200
it
people.
was beautiful. It was like along the water, and it was just absolutely amazing. So we really loved that one. But I think they were all really good for their own reasons. It was just lovely seeing the different scenery, and definitely had to dress up nice and warm though. We went in the middle of winter, so.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for talking to me and for sharing your story with Eva and the connections that you've had with Parkrun. I think all of us have that for some level anyway with Parkrun, but I'm sure it must be really special to you with the life that you have. So thank you for sharing.
No worries,
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Now, I've just caught up with Henry, a vision-impaired runner, and his guide. How are you guys going today?
Doing really well, thanks.
Henry did better than I did, so. But it was a fun run. Fun park run.
There's a soft tether that sort of goes between our wrists, and I think Robert crossed the line marginally ahead of than me.
Oh,
so
that's against the rules officially, isn't it?
yeah, something like that. I don't know if there are any rules at this point, but yeah.
Not at Parkrun, there's not.
It's all about smiling and having a good time.
Yeah.
That's
sure.
it. And this is your first parkrun together, I hear.
This is our first park run together. Robert signed up to guide the Bridge to Brisbane, which is tomorrow. So we went for our first training run last week. That went well. We both survived, and all the important bits and pieces attached. So I'm looking forward to many more runs with him. If you can put up with me.
It is a bit of a partnership, isn't it? So, Robert, what's it like for you guiding runners in general, and Henry?
I think it's your payback to the community. I enjoy, contributing back, but it does highlight when you do your workshop and you get blindfolded, what it means to lose one of your senses and how important communication and trust is. And that means a lot of talking and trust and building a relationship. So it's like anything in life, and doing that, you both enjoy it, and but it can be stressful with all the runners, especially on a out and back course where you've got runners coming both ways.
Yep.
To make sure that you're keeping aware and giving a notice, and passing people and making sure there's no accidents. But it's I feel proud to be doing it, and Henry is a pretty quick runner. But I got into it as well as a way of also recovering from a Achilles tendon injury where I couldn't run much, and I wanted to just do park runs and contribute to the running community. And so some of the people I've guided, take 50 minutes, others take, like Henry, and we did just over 30 minutes today. So it's a fun experience.
Yeah, it is.
What does it mean to you, Henry, to have someone guide you to be able to run?
Basically facilitates getting out and doing an exercise that I was previously not able to do. I'm passionate about fitness, and I'm passionate about getting out and also promoting exercise and fitness amongst others who might find it more challenging than most to do these things. So for me, it gets me out, and it keeps me fit, keeps me honest, and I'm a very goal-orientated person. So betting a PB or training for a half marathon or something is something that's phenomenal for just focus and sort of questioning the limits that you put on yourself. So as part of my role with the Achilles Running Club here in Brisbane, that's what they're all about. They get people out. They encourage and support people to just become more active in the local community. So it's something that I'm really passionate about. So
fantastic. And look, it's a really nice connection with Parkrun, because Parkrun is not just about the running, it's about the connections that you make.
Yeah, it is. And it's setting good routines. It's so easy to sleep in. For me, the more exercise I do, the more energy I have.
Yep.
It's sort of, you obviously reach a point where that benefit rubs off if you exercise too much, but it really gives you the energy you need, I think, to do all the things that you need to do as part of a pretty busy life. So, yeah.
100%. Now, you've got an involvement with the Achilles Club here in Brisbane, you said?
That's right. I'm one of the two co-presidents. So they're looking to grow and encourage people both to come and run with any form of visual impairment or other challenge, and also to volunteer as running guides. So they're looking for people all the time, and they've also got chapters in Sydney and Melbourne as well. So it's a global thing, and I think since parkrun has started, they've really tried to become more involved with parkruns as well. So I think it's great.
Fantastic. And that's how you got involved, Robert. You were saying you came to a session at a parkrun?
I used to live in Malaysia, and I finished a half marathon over there, and I saw a guide leading someone over. And they weren't from Achilles, but they were leading a visually impaired runner over the finish line. I thought, that'd be great. Our family's had a history of macular degeneration, so my mum is suffering from lack of eyesight now and fading. So it's my thing of getting involved, and I thought, how could I do it? I saw it at Sydney Half Marathon last year, a group of Achilles runners guiding someone past me going 1,000,000 miles an hour faster than I am. I thought, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And then through my running club in training, they had a workshop at Rocks Riverside Parkrun, and I did that, came home, and as soon as I got home, I went on the website and signed up for it. And it's just been a good journey there. And wearing the Achilles T-shirt with the guide on it, and the runner with their Achilles T-shirt, going by, everyone gives you so much respect. And I think it helps a lot with the public awareness of, not only what visually impaired people can do,
yes.
And how, they might have an impairment, but they can still participate in a lot of the same sports and that we do, and still enjoy it and have fun. And the number of people who say hello and come up and cheer you on and get to know you, it's great. So
fantastic.
And there's always volunteers for, people have their guide dogs as well. And there's other park runners who'll come and take the guide dog for a walk while the runner's doing the run. And that's great, because that helps a lot in, building the community spirit.
They're almost, there are nearly fights over who gets to walk the guide dogs. So
let someone do the hard work of running with the human, and I'll have the fun job of patting the dog.
Pretty much.
And then there's always the traditional park run, go for the coffee and breakfast after it.
It's all part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, thank you guys. Thank you to both of you for talking to me, and well done on being such great ambassadors for the Achilles Club. For anyone that's interested, there is an information session here at Chermside Parkrun in just a few weeks' time.
28th of September.
28th of September. So if you're interested, have a look, or contact the Achilles Foundation directly. Get involved.
Thank you.
Now, after all that talk about looking not very appropriate in my gold tights, I've found someone else in the same tights, and happens to be the event director, Bradley. How are you today?
I'm feeling fabulous. How are you?
Oh, look, how can you not be fabulous in tights like ours, hey?
Yes, it's great. I was glad that I was not the only one wearing them today.
So was I. Now, how was your day today?
Pretty stress-free. We have a great run director team, and we're very organised, so it went off pretty much without a hitch today.
Excellent. And I saw that you took the option to volunteer today instead of running in your gold tights. That was a good choice.
Very much so. I wouldn't want to be out there in this. I ran in a cow onesie a few years ago, and that was a big mistake.
You see, you've learnt from your mistakes. I have not yet. So, and now your fourth anniversary here at Chermside. Have you been involved in Chermside for the whole time?
Yes, first as a runner, and then as a volunteer, and now as an event director.
And how did you first get involved in parkrun?
My mum told me about it. She heard an interview on ABC Radio and she told me about it. She knew I was interested in running, so I went along to Mitchelton. And then when Chermside started, I came over here.
Yeah. And what do you like most about parkrun?
The fact that everyone gets cheered across the line, no matter how fast, no matter how slow you are. There's something for everyone.
Even gold tights?
Well, I'll leave that up to you.
All right, well, thanks for talking to me today, and thank you so much for the contribution that you've made to Parkrun over the years, first at Mitchelton and now here at Chermside. Thanks so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Alrighty then, Parkrun adventurers, I think I will call that a wrap from Chermside Parkrun. Plenty of sparkly things, lots of really goodwill here today with the Achilles runners and shining for Eva. So this is Lyndall signing off for the Channel 5 News crew from Chermside Parkrun in Brisbane.
Howdy parkrunners, it's Toc reporting in for the Channel 5 News crew. Today Jackie and I have ventured over to the western Victorian town of Nhill. We're out in a lovely park, and Mel, you've got to bring the kids here. This park has everything, it is awesome. We're about to go for a run out. I think we run out around a swamp and around a lake or across a boardwalk by the looks of things where the course is marked out. So we'll check in a little bit later, but the day cannot see a cloud in the sky. It is beautiful out here. A little frosty, but it's a beautiful day. We'll check in later. Cheers. Howdy parkrunners, we've finished the Nhill Park Run. I'm here with the young fella Zane. Zane, about a K, you were running in front of me and you just disappeared from sight. What happened?
Tripped over a rock.
Yeah, it took a bit of a stack, face planted, but you bounced up pretty quick.
Yeah, tried to not let it affect my run. So
no, you still finished pretty well. You finished second, so you finished pretty strongly too at the end there. You were running really well. And is this your home park run? Or?
No, we live in Geelong, but we come up here a lot because we do renovations on houses, so I love doing this every Saturday.
Cool. It's a lovely little course out there, isn't it, around the lake?
Nice and sunny.
Yeah. And it was pretty dry today. Has it been a bit damp over winter out here?
Yeah, it has a few times, but mostly sunny.
I kitted up in my trail shoes thinking it was going to be a bit wet and muddy, and probably could have done it in a pair of road shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're all right. A little bit of claret there. So you've joined the Stack Club, the Parkrun Stack Club. Well done. And enjoy. Thanks a lot, Zane.
Thank you.
Cheers. Parkrunners, I'm here with Bev. Bev's the founding ED at Nhill. Bev, we've just been out for a run around your course. It's a beautiful course out there. Can you give us a bit of a description of your course?
Oh, well, it's a great way to run, walk. We have a lake. You have to go out around the lake. It's very pretty, especially on a cold, frosty morning when nobody wants to come. But the mist over the lake is just beautiful. And yes, the people just love. I think I've had one person who hasn't liked our course.
An amazing amount of water birds out there today. There's birds, bird life everywhere.
Yeah, we're a bit lucky. We've had a good rain recently, and it's really lovely.
Yeah. Nill's a fairly small town. What made you want to bring Parkrun to Nhill?
Well, originally I'd been up with my daughter and son-in-law up at the top of New South Wales, Kingscliff, and I went out with them a few times and just thought how wonderful it was and thought how good it would be to bring it to Nhill. Yeah.
And look, I've been to a lot of different park runs, and this is the first time I've seen people turn up with urns and plates of cake other than at anniversaries. This looks like a bit of a normal thing because there was a few people turning up with urns today.
Yeah, we don't do it all the time. Every now and then we do it because the thing that we find hard, there's no coffee shop close by. We've got to go away back down the street, and we like to keep the people together, so every now and then we have a morning coffee. They never know when it's going to be.
Yeah. A great little sense of community. I got here this morning and look, there wasn't too many people here, but everyone was just out having a chat, and as you walked up, very welcoming, which I love to see at a park run. You know, we had so many people come up and introduce themselves. It's a really great feel about the park run.
Yes, we're only small here, but I think perhaps our advantage is we can talk to people when they come and make them feel welcome, and it's our benefit because we get to know lots of people. And I met Tony here at Wangaratta, and it was lovely to see him come to our park run this morning. And yeah, it's just a friendly place to be on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, no, well done. Look, you've created a great little thing here, and I really did enjoy your course out there. As I said, I just can't get over how many birds were flying around the wetlands. Obviously over summer probably don't have as much water out in the lake, but at the moment it's beautiful out there.
Yeah, no, we do. Sometimes they put water into it for us, and so yeah, it's usually pretty good.
And for facilities at your park run, I see you've got the toilets just up. Now, I said in my intro, I did a little intro spiel, you've got a great playground here for kids too.
Yes, it is good, yes. Yeah, no, we're very fortunate, and we've got the town, people come through the town. Haven't been bypassed yet.
Yep.
So that's fortunate.
All right, we might wrap it up there. I might have to go and jump on the big slide over there
Are
and
you
have a
going
go.
to quickly have a coffee before you go?
I will do,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Thank you, Tony. Lovely talking to
Thanks,
you.
Bev. Great parkrun.
Bye.
Hello, parkrun adventurers. This is Mark reporting in from Dubbo Parkrun. We're out here for the Dubbo Stampede, which is being held tomorrow, and also collecting our D for the Alphabet Challenge. So Dubbo is northwest of Sydney by approximately 400 kilometres. Major industry here is really based around agriculture, but tourism is also quite a big industry with the Taronga Zoo that we mentioned before. Dubbo Parkrun is based along the Macquarie River. We're about to have our briefing session, and we'll catch up with a few other parkrun adventurers. We've just finished Dubbo Parkrun, and that's a beautiful course actually, and I'm with Simon from the Ponds. Hello, Simon.
G'day, Mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is this your first time at Dubbo?
First time at Dubbo. Absolutely loved it. Out and back course, around the river, looks beautiful. Friendly crowd.
Yeah.
So good, yeah.
It's a big crowd here. Obviously a lot of people coming out to the Dubbo Stampede tomorrow. You taking part?
Yep, doing the Zebra Zoom, which is the half tomorrow. It's part of the New South Wales Western Regional Running Championship. So I've done Bathurst and Orange, and last week, I can't even remember, it was Mudgee last week, okay. Dubbo this week, and then we've got Forbes and Carcool.
Yeah, wow, yeah. That's pretty cool. And what kind of time are you aiming for tomorrow?
Anything under 2:15 would be fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you probably see me around that pace as well. Get out much and do much parkrun adventuring?
Try to. That's why this New South Wales regional running is so good, because we've been able to do the parkrun. We go away for the weekend, live in Sydney, come up, go to a country parkrun that you've never done before, like today. Absolutely fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. And you were saying before that you've come and visited Canberra, where I'm from.
Yep, we did Burley Griffin, again when there was a Canberra Running Festival on. Again, a beautiful course. Kangaroos everywhere. Yeah. And -3 degrees, I think it was.
That's ideal running weather.
One would think so, but when you get there and your fingers are almost falling off, I don't know about that. But this morning, for instance, cold to begin with, and now it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, well, hopefully similar conditions tomorrow.
Fantastic, yes, hope so.
Cool, thanks, Simon.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. We're with a couple of other park runners, and got some people here from Queen's Domain, I believe.
Yeah, Queen's Domain.
What's your name?
Glenn.
And we've got
Bethany and Lisa from Dubbo.
Dubbo. So we've actually got a local here amongst all these runners here. Like there's a high proportion of tourists. So yeah.
And I'm related to one of the Dubboers. So.
And what brought you to Dubbo today?
The Stampede that's on tomorrow.
Yeah.
The half marathon for tomorrow. So I'm up here doing the warm up today, and then the half marathon tomorrow.
Excellent. And got a time in mind for tomorrow?
Finishing.
That's,
upright.
Look, that's always
I'm hoping to break 2:20.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. So.
And have you been to Dubbo Parkrun before?
Yes, this is my third Dubbo Parkrun.
Okay.
PB today, I can brag, yes.
Oh, excellent, well done.
Yeah, no.
So you were meant to taking it easy today, though,
yeah,
for tomorrow.
Yeah, I wasn't aiming for PB, but it slipped out. So, yeah.
Well, you must be feeling pretty good and pretty loose then to pull that off.
Yeah, loose except for the knee, the back, the hips, but other than that, the rest is pretty loose, yes.
All right. Do you get out much parkrun adventuring?
I've done 13 different ones.
Okay. What are your highlights?
My home parkrun at Queen's Domain is one of my favourite ones. I just like getting out and meeting people and being part of different communities and seeing different places in the country.
Yep. And as a Dubbo local, how many Dubbo parkruns have you done?
I think I'm up to 31.
31?
Yep. I think I'm up to 72.
72?
Yes.
Well, so you've been here for about half the time.
Yeah.
That it's been running.
Yep. Yeah. I started 2 years ago last week, actually.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Yay! It was the week before the Stampede. 2 years ago, I started park running.
And what got you into parkrun?
The community, I guess getting out, doing the exercise, really doing the 5K run, and then it was the community that kept me here.
Yeah.
The motivation, the support, the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Really.
Doesn't matter what pace you're doing, there's someone that'll walk with you, there's someone that'll push you if you're going for a PB, there's always someone there that will either be like, yep, walk with me, or yeah, go faster. It's good.
And are you both doing the Stampede tomorrow as well?
I am. I'm doing the half with Dad.
Very good. And how many halves have you done?
This will be my second Stampede half.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Is it a good course?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is a good course, the Stampede course. It's relatively flat except for the last 5 kilometres around the zoo, but the rest is relatively flat. So
The zoo's a killer. There's good hills in it.
Right at the end.
Right at the
Awesome.
end.
yeah, so someone thought it was a great joke.
All right, well, thanks very much, and best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
With Tim now, who's one of the run directors here. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, event number 211 at Dubbo Parkrun.
Yes.
Recently celebrated a birthday.
The 4th birthday, yes.
Yeah. How did all that go?
It was fantastic. Pajamas was the theme, and we had a very good crowd. The weather was good for the day, so because our birthday's in the middle of winter, it can be. Last year it was -7. This year it was in the positive numbers. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It might look coming from Canberra -7. That does hurt. I do appreciate that. And I did notice when you had your 4th birthday, there was a lot of chalk art out on the footpath, a bit of motivation and celebration. Who does that?
We're very lucky to have a couple of locals who are here today. Doug and Debbie Aldis and Karen Pello also helps out, and they just volunteer their time and come down here the day before and do the unbelievable artwork. One benefit of it being so dry is that the artwork doesn't get washed off, but I would like to see it get washed off with a big dumping of rain. So
there's a lot of tourists here today.
A lot,
and it's going to spike your numbers a bit. So you reckon about an extra 100 over the normal numbers?
Not quite sure. The amount of tourists that come this weekend usually outweigh the locals who are holding off from running because of the Stampede tomorrow. But we should comfortably get over 300 today.
Yeah, so your average is about 271, I think it was. So some good numbers and a lot of tourists here from all parts of New South Wales and a bit further abroad as well. How have you found Dubbo Parkrun? How long have you been involved?
I've been involved since the start. Miriam Tan, who is the event director here, came up to me in a pub one night and asked if I owned a trundle wheel. And that's how my involvement in parkrun started. And I've really enjoyed the role and didn't think I would enjoy and get as much as I would out of it being volunteering so much.
Yeah. And what's been some of your highlights over the 4 years?
Seeing people who didn't think that they could do 5Ks coming weekly now.
Yeah.
I love seeing when the record's broken, but I love seeing when people achieve what they've been setting out to achieve, whether that's a 25-minute PB, a 30-minute PB, or an hour PB. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, good. Now, one of the things that you got me excited about in the run briefing was breakfast. Tell me about that.
So we're very lucky. We've got a cafe in town that supports us, and they do a deal for us afterwards. They're called the Deaf Chef. They do a $10 bacon and egg roll and coffee for us. They've got a really good setup there for us. We don't interrupt their normal daily Saturday business. It's well supported. We get about 20 people there every week, and it's just a great place to debrief afterwards and talk shop.
You had me at egg and bacon roll.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, Parkrun Adventurers, we're done here at Dubbo. We've had breakfast. So Dubbo Parkrun, it's an out and back course, bit of mixture of path and a bit of trail along the river. It's a stunning course and a very friendly crowd. I recommend that you're out this way to check out Dubbo Parkrun. We'll catch you next time on the Parkrun Adventurers.
How good were those reports? Awesome to hear my fellow roving reporters step up to the plate, and some great content in there from Lyndall, Toc and Mark. Yeah.
As always. And, the fact that Lyndall was sporting her gold tights for the shiny and bright theme at Chermside too, that's extra level dedication right there.
I've seen those tights and I'm, again, bit of FOMO, bit envious of them. I do like a dress up. Lyndall, you look great. Well done. And Toc was getting amongst it.
He was. Meanwhile, Toc, that interview with Zane wearing more claret, I don't know what it is, whether or not Toc is the person responsible for people stacking, because that's 2 roving reports in a row on separate weeks where he's spoken to someone who's stacked at Parkrun. So either he's causing it or he's just bad luck and perhaps if you're running at the same event as Tok, you need to make sure you look out for sticks and rocks, because somebody's going down and it could be you.
I also want to give a shout out to Tok as well, mate. I know that you were doing roving reports well before I was, and it's an honour to follow in your footsteps and to now be part of the team along with you, mate. So, keep doing awesome stuff, mate.
And thanks also to Mark at Dubbo with all the Stampede stuff going on. It's a big deal, the Dubbo Stampede. Have you ever done it?
Oh, me? No way. I've heard about it, though.
It's one of those events that's on my to-do list. But getting out to Dubbo in August is not necessarily easy. Who knows? Maybe one day, hopefully. Speaking of getting out to New South Wales, we have one launch on the calendar this week, and that is in Scone, at Bill Rose Sports Complex Parkrun. So that's a bit exciting. New South Wales getting a new event.
The Bill Rose Sports Complex. So that's because that's where the actual event is. Because that's the whole idea now, isn't it? That events are named after the place that they are actually held at or in.
Yes, yeah, the park effectively, or location that they start and finish in.
So hopefully there'll be lots of scones at Scone for people to enjoy after they go to the Bill Rose Sports Complex Parkrun launch.
I do like myself a good. Well, I pronounce it scone.
So do I. I know.
The town's not pronounced scone, is it?
I don't think so. And
No.
I'm hoping no one has a stack and falls on their scone or scone.
Well, hopefully Tok stays away. But you know what's going to happen this weekend, PK?
I reckon Sunday is the beginning of September.
It is. Not only is it Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there in Parkrun land, it is the first day of Streaky September.
Woo! It's back.
Oh, and I need it. I need it big time, because my mileage, my kilometerage, if that's a thing, it's non-existent, or has been non-existent. And this is the shiny beacon every year that gets me moving again, if not temporarily. But it's a start. It's a good start. And look, we've still got people streaking who started streaking on the 1st of September last year, and they're still streaking now, which is an awesome, awesome legacy of this little idea that we had a couple of years ago on the pod.
For those who are tuning in who may not have actually heard about Streaky September, we just want to clarify you don't have to run naked.
No, clothing on is actually preferred.
We can if you want.
We don't discriminate. Yeah, we don't discriminate. If you want to run without any clothes on, that is your prerogative. I would suggest not doing it in public, because I believe the police have a different perspective on whether or not that's appropriate.
So Streaky September is running or getting out and being active every day of the month.
It's a 2K. It's a walk or a run, or we do actually have some people who streak with swimming. They're trying to keep off the legs for whatever reason. They've had injuries, and they either mix it up with swimming or cycling, or it's like you say, it's being active every day. For us, Streaky September has always been minimum 2K. You can do more if you want to, but right. It's at your own pace. It's wherever you want to do it, whatever time of day you want to do it, as long as it's before that midnight striking pumpkin hour, and it's every day in September if you can manage it.
I do have memories, of listening into this time last year or maybe the year prior, where Scott was talking about getting out with the family at like 11:29, p.m. after they've got home from the night out or whatever.
Yes.
So are we doing Streaky September bingo? That is the big question.
Yes, there will be Streaky bingo. We do love to throw in some extra challenges for those who get a bit bored with just doing the minimum 2K every day, and they want to, they need some extra motivation to get out there and do different fun things.
Great. I love it. Another thing, yet another thing to get amongst. It's awesome. And I think it's a bit of fun, and people, and if they want to get involved, obviously they don't have to, but if they want to, they can post about it and put hashtag Streaky September up. And maybe if they also use the handle, the Parkrun Adventurers handle, and also put in hashtag Streaky September, then my future fellow co-hosts and yourself will be able to note people doing it.
Yeah, we're more likely to see it if they use both hashtags, Streaky September and Parkrun Adventurers. And one last thing about Streaky September, there is an online open group on Facebook called Streak Your Way Every Day. So if any participants would like to head on over and join the group, you'll be able to get lots of motivation and share stories and inspiration from other streakers who are taking part of the fun. This group was actually started as the Streaky September group last year on the 1st of September, and there's a lot of people who've continued on, but they're more than happy to have everyone join them this year, which is awesome.
Sounds great. I love it.
Have you got any adventures planned, or are you planning on being back at Mount Barker this weekend, PK?
I might go and check out Packanthe. They've got a new course there. They've had to change the course a bit, I think, because of the tree roots, something to do with too much running over tree roots that needed a bit of TLC. Or I might head out maybe Jubilee Way. I don't know. There's a few things that I've got to work around. So yeah, I've got a few other adventures planned for later in the month. So yeah, we'll see. What about you? Do you know where you're going to be, or is it going to be a surprise?
Well, no, this weekend I'm rostered on to Run Direct at Kawana, so I'll be at home for the first time in a few weeks, which will be nice because I have back-to-back adventures planned for the whole month of September.
Well, you're gonna rock way ahead of Scotty. Not that it's a competition.
Oh, it's a competition.
But did I feel like you guys were 77 each or something? Was that right? Or I don't know, along those lines?
Well, we were as at his last episode. However, he also ran at Kira on the weekend, and I believe that was the first time he'd run there. So he's probably snuck up to 78.
Oh, well. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on what he's up to, and who knows, maybe he'll turn up as a roving reporter one of these days. Clearly, there's going to be big criteria for him to become a roving reporter. But
oh yeah, and look, I think this time I should let you guys set the criteria as the current crew. You should come up with the challenges that the new reporters have to do.
I think each of us maybe need to have a different element.
There'll be a PK challenge, a Lyndall challenge, a Talk challenge, etc., etc.
Let's do it.
I like that idea. PK, thank you. It has been a wonderful first episode without Scotty, dare I say it. I really appreciate it, as I said right in the intro, having you along for the ride. It's been awesome having you here to chat all things parkrun with me this week, and I look forward to doing it again.
I can't wait. It's been an honour, as I said at the very beginning, an honour to be part of the parkrun world, a small part, and to be able to help spread the word. We all know and love parkrun, or know how much we all love parkrun, and we want more people to hear about it. And thank you, and thanks for everything, and thanks for keeping the Parkrun Adventurers podcast alive. You could have easily said, "Nah, I'm having a break." So much kudos goes to you, Mel. Busy working in the parkrun world, a mum of two. Just, good on you. And let's, and I suppose we want to make sure that it stays alive. And so we'll do all we can, as the co-hosts to make your job as easy as possible. So let's continue it, on its new evolution.